Murder somebody, hide the body. You gotta dig up, do your own research, go get the death certificate, see what really happened to people, right? Then you got kids and stuff that's coming up missing. They don't make the reports.
May I ask of you, where did you go to medical school?
I did not go to medical school.
I'm sorry?
I did not go to medical school.
That's what I thought. Why do you think you or anyone else at Twitter had the medical expertise to censor a doctor's expert opinion?
Our policies regarding COVID were designed to protect individuals. We were seeing...
You guys censored Harvard-educated doctors, Stanford-educated doctors, doctors that are educated in the best places in the world, and you silenced those voices. My next question is, did the U.S. government, oh, excuse me, I have another chart I want to show you, Ms. Gaddy. I have another tweet by someone with a following of a full 18,000 followers. This person put a chart from the CDC on Twitter. It's the CDC's own data, so it's accurate by your standards, and you all labeled this as misleading. You're not a doctor, right, Ms. Gaddy?
No, I'm not.
Okay. What makes you think you or anyone else at Twitter have the medical expertise to censor actual, accurate CDC data?
I'm not familiar with these particular situations.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not.
You see what I'm saying? They control the information. This has been going on. So, anyway, like I said, the DeMar Hamlin thing, man, yeah, real deal. They cloned that man. That man gone. Oh yeah, it was a chemical spill in Ohio. Yeah. Now y'all think that was an accident? Okay. What it was? Damn, what was the stuff that spilled? Dang. I can't think of what it was that spilled, man. I might have to get a video and play it for y'all.
Today, the EPA said the train that derailed and caught fire in East Palestine, Ohio, was carrying and actually released more toxic chemicals than was first reported. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine also revealing that the train was not categorized as carrying high-risk chemicals. He now wants Congress to look into that. Water quality has been one of many concerns following that disaster. Chemicals did reach the Ohio River, and 3,500 fish have likely died in streams and tributaries. But Ohio officials today trying to reassure the public.
So good news, there doesn't appear to be any increase in the fish or aquatic creatures killed since the first couple days of the derailment.
The Ohio River is very large, and it's a water body that's able to dilute the pollutants pretty quickly.
The NTSB may be zeroing in on the disaster's cause. In the meantime, federal investigators have surveillance video from a resident showing what appears to be a wheel bearing in the final stage of what it calls overheat failure, moments before
This distinction is really important. Hasn't been getting a lot of coverage, and the coverage that it has been getting hasn't been very good. So let's talk about the trail derailment in East Palestine. Hasn't been getting a lot of coverage, and the coverage that it has been getting hasn't been very good. So let's talk about the trail derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. East Palestine's about an hour north of Pittsburgh, almost halfway to Cleveland. Norfolk Southern has a rail line that goes right through town, and this derailment happened right on the edge outside of town on the border of PA and Ohio. Of the cars that crashed, 5 of them contained vinyl chloride. It's a monomer used to make PVC. The reporting on this has gotten vinyl chloride confused with polyvinyl chloride, the polymer made out of vinyl chloride. Now, the reason that this distinction is really important is vinyl chloride is very hazardous and very flammable. Polyvinyl chloride is a plastics that's used in like everything. The other thing about vinyl chloride is that it boils at 8 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's shipped in its liquid form. Meaning that when these trains crashed and these started leaking, they weren't just leaking liquid, but they were spewing boiling gas. So vinyl chloride is really toxic. OSHA has the permissible limit of how much you can be exposed to it during an 8-hour shift as a 1 ppm part per million. Average over 8 hours. So prior to this, the biggest spill of this chemical was in New Jersey, where one train car and about 23,000 gallons of vinyl chloride were spilled, but it didn't catch on fire. Now, this crash in Ohio has 5 train cars. These kinds of tanker cars can carry between 25 and 33,000 gallons. Let's call it 250 to 250,000 pounds of vinyl chloride. That's per train car, 5 train cars. There's maybe 1 million pounds of this toxic chemical spilling into the ground and also boiling off into the air. But then it caught on fire. I think this is where the reporting is really bad because no one is mentioning what the byproduct of vinyl chloride burning is. Of the many byproducts of burning vinyl chloride, one of them is hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen chloride is really unstable and latches onto water, like just water vapor in the atmosphere, and that turns into hydrochloric acid. So right now, government officials from the railroad, both the governor of Pennsylvania and Ohio are calling burning off the 1 million pounds of this stuff a success, but not mentioning that it means that we have hundreds of thousands of pounds of acid in the air, potentially. Now, ever since engineering school, I've studied a lot of industrial accidents. I just find it really fascinating, and organizations like the Chemical Safety Board, NTSB, and OSHA all have like really good reports available to the public. I think as a designer, it's really good to learn about mistakes. When looking at these kinds of industrial disasters across time, there are a couple things that are pretty universal across all of them. One, the responsible party, in this case, Norfolk Southern Railway, always plays down the reality of the situation.
It's been released into the atmosphere all around that area. Okay, people are inhaling and breathing. I think it was a lady that had some chickens or something like that, and all the chickens died within like 6 days. So you're talking about human beings ingesting that stuff. How long will it take to affect our bodies and stuff? How long will it take? And make no mistake, this is not an accident. This was intent. The events that happen in our world, they are carefully planned out. Okay, this is not a attack of a terrorist or nothing. This is an attack of people, of these demonic beings that's right here, trying to wipe out our whole existence, and they doing stuff like that. That was an attack. Yes, it was a terrorist attack by all means, but it's being performed, or it's being carried out by people in our own, you know what. So the effects of that, guys, is going to be devastating for those people. I don't know how far the radius is for that blast or the chemical spill, or how far out, but apparently it got to the water supply and things as well.